This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code SOCRATES at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pornian Bakery. If you're located in the Pornian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pornian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. So before we jump into the craziness of what happened in America, I saw that video of like Trump kind of antagonizing. Like, I don't know. It feels like the seriousness is slowly deteriorating. I mean, I guess it's more normal. Have you ever seen the movie Adjustment Bureau?
Yeah.
Okay, so we watched it last night, and his whole platform was being like a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of like Trumpy-ish. Like, I get it. Like, he is acting normal. Like, that's kind of how a normal person would do it. Like, hey, you know, bickering kind of thing. We'll get into that. But before we jump into that, I know it looks bad. Like, on, like, you look at it, you're like, oh, that's crazy, right? And like, if you think about like Canada, like, yeah, that's a great country, whatever. But like, we always hear things about China, and you're like, I don't know, like maybe it is crazy, maybe it's not. Like all these podcasts I listen to with these Navy SEAL people and these like Army people, they're always like, we don't want to be the CCP, and I'm like, but what do you mean, bro? Like I don't know, right? So I stayed late after yesterday, like jujitsu, and there's this guy that's there, and like he had been coming for a while. He's all tatted up. He's like Chinese dude, doesn't really speak English too well. So we're rolling, and then I'm like, oh yeah, like how long you been rolling, whatever. And then he's like, yeah, I used to train in China. I'm like, oh, where in China do you live? Because, you know, like I love Hong Kong, whatever. Mm-hmm. So that was me like there. He's like, oh, I'm from Beijing, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then he just goes, F China, and I'm like, what? Yo, I know, it's crazy. I was like, oh, that's weird, because like you're like in mainland, like Beijing, China.
Yeah, right.
He's like, F China. I'm like, why? And he's like, you know, during COVID, they if somebody in the building gets COVID, they'll lock down the whole building, kill all the animals, take all the people, and bring them to a camp. And I was like, that sounds great. I'm like, do you know somebody that happened to? Because you're like, oh yeah, you hear that on the news, like you don't know if it's. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, oh wow. And he's like, then we escaped to Thailand. Thailand. Why did I say it like that? We escaped to Thailand. No, Thailand. Thailand. I was thinking
really
Taiwan.
Thailand?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he went from Beijing to Thailand. He lived in Chiang Mai for 2 years. I was like, dude, I love Chiang Mai. It's an amazing spot. And then he went to Bangkok for 2 months, and then he came to Toronto like last month. So he's been like on this journey, this exodus journey away from China. I'm like, yo, that is crazy. I know, right? And I'm like, yo, it's really that bad? He's like, yeah, it's bad. But like, again, you don't like, I heard this on a podcast recently. It's like, we don't dislike Chinese people. We just don't like the CCP. Mm-hmm. Like, Chinese people aren't our enemy. The CCP is. And I'm like, what do you mean, bro? You know what I mean? And like today we have to cut it short because I have to go like get some tattoo touch-ups. And like my artist is Chinese too. She was born there, and then I said this before, and then she like came here, but she hasn't been back. And then I was like, oh, like, are you going to put back whatever? And she's like, yeah, but like the money system's messed up. We have to use Alipay and all that, whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's really like locked down. She's like, yes, it's really locked down. And now I'm like, okay, how bad is bad? You know what I mean? Like, we're all like, oh, America's bad. It's like, maybe we do want to keep what's going on over there. And like, you know what I mean? Well, like, even in the Philippines, like my cousin, he's like, oh, China's doing these bad things. And you're just like, really? Like,
well, you know, that's the thing, right? I think that for a long time it's just been in like America as a leader of the world. That's why things haven't been happening. But now, as you know, if America is destabilized, there's going to be other countries that want to take it.
Okay, okay. But like that is some World War II type stuff, bro. Like you're just
Mm-hmm.
gonna slaughter like he said like they lock down the building so nobody can leave. You
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
you like lock it in and you're like, what? Okay. You kill all the animals. You're like, what are you saying, bro?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
they take all the people and bring them to a camp.
Right, right, right.
Like that sounds nuts,
I
bro.
I think I heard. I remember like hearing about that. Some of that stuff was happening, or at least the building was locked down. I don't know about the camp
Right.
thing, right? But yeah.
Totally. And I was listening to a podcast in recently and they said that he said that they're using COVID as a veneer to actually make an additional term for the current leader. So like they've
Mm-hmm.
locked down Shanghai right now, and they're claiming it's because of COVID, but like COVID was like freaking 5 years ago, bro. You know what I mean? And they're saying like, but the Navy SEAL dude, he's like, it's just a front because they want to like make Mao run for a third term or something like that.
Okay. Well, it's not
Something like
Mao though.
whoever the leader is. I don't. No, no, it
She.
hasn't happened. Sorry, it's G. It hasn't happened since Mao. Mao was the first
Oh,
one, and then
okay,
he's trying
okay.
to redo what Mao did.
Right.
But like, that's crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't even hear about it. Like you kind of hear about it, like a little bit, but like you don't really
Well,
hear
it's
about it. You
you,
know?
you can't really hear about it as much because only some things can come out because they've controlled their media, right? Very much.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So information to get out is very difficult as well.
But like, you hear people travel to China all the time. You know? But like,
Mm-hmm.
you never. I guess it's different from being like a tourist and being somebody who lives there. You know,
Yeah,
he lived there.
yeah, I think that's the difference. Yeah.
And like you know it's so weird because like with information because you're saying like controlling the media, like the election that just happened, the in Ontario or something.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I didn't even know that happened because like they deliver the voting thing I guess to my parents' house. They're like away, and then like I was walking Athena and I saw vote and I was like what? And
Mm-hmm.
then we looked into it. It's like, oh, it's voting today. I'm like, oh my God, is it for the prime minister? Because I've been harping about like how I need to vote liberal, you
Yeah,
know?
no, it's not the
But
federal one.
yeah, so I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't miss that boat. But I was already going to jujitsu and I saw the signs. So I was like, I'm committed to jujitsu, bro. I'm not going to like run to Port Union and get like the voting card. You know what I mean? Like, it's too
It's
much
not
work.
necessarily
Like,
something you need, but
the voting card?
you'll need an ID.
That's what I said. So I was like, wait, why can't we just go in? And Tara's like, no, because your voting card is like related to your region or your area. I was like, oh, I guess I can't vote then. I
Well,
thought I could just
that's
like yeah, just bring my like driver's license, you know?
but your driver's license is it still addressed to your parents' address?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be difficult to vote at like the closer to where you're at right now. You'd
Oh,
have
so it
to go
has to
to
be.
probably the location that of that address.
Oh yeah, so,
Unless
so
you
that's what you
have
said.
yeah, you need things like or you have to have a letter or like any mail that has your name and the address that you're currently living at in order to be able to vote in your area.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I don't really. You know what's weird about mail? You're just like, you're like, when should I switch it over? You know what I mean? Like we've been here, I guess like 8 years now, and like I haven't switched over because I'm like, it doesn't feel like you know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean. Like it feels stable at like my parents' house because
Sure.
like it's a brick and mortar, but like you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's an apartment. Like, do I really need to? You know, I don't
Mm-hmm,
know.
mm-hmm.
Unless there's some legalities around that. So this is all alleged. I don't know. You know, I don't know if there's actually like some penalty around
No,
that. I'm
you
like,
can
oh,
have yeah, people can have multiple homes, so you can have multiple addresses, right? So it's just like where
oh,
you
okay.
want your home address to
Be able to
be
go. That's what I
and
mean.
your
Yeah,
mail
I'm just
address
like
to
it's
be.
just
Yeah.
easier because
Yeah.
like then I have to change everything, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Like you
mean?
can like I
Wasn't
used to
sure.
have I would have the when I was there, I would have the address there. It's because for parking, so they needed the address to be there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I would have the home or the mailing address to be my parents.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah,
So
I
you
see
can
what you're
do things
saying.
like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So funny how that works. You're just like it just feels safer as a brick and mortar. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I mean, technically an apartment's brick and mortar too, but like it's a standalone building.
Sure. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like there's no chance of you getting lost or whatever. But
Hmm.
anyways, so you were saying that you were going to talk about something crazy political wise.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the whole thing has been crazy with the Zelensky
Y-
thing, and
Dude, what are we doing, right?
I think was it all this week with the Macron thing? Was this week?
What's Macron?
Just how he handled Trump in that same where they were sitting, right? Where Zelensky was sitting, like it was earlier in the week. He met with a
Okay.
few European leaders, right, throughout the week. I think it was this week. So Macron, and then I think the UK Prime Minister, then Zelensky.
Oh, okay, okay. Interesting. And how did it go? I've only seen the Zelensky one because that one's going viral.
Well, they're saying that the Macron one was how Macron handled him. Like he was saying something, but then this is the French Prime Minister, right? So he just like redirected the answer to the correct, like, and this is what's actually happening, like kind of way.
Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. The Have you seen the thing about the tariffs that they're going to bring back for Canada?
Yeah,
That was just
supposedly
for me.
it's
It was,
tomorrow.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. And do you think it will be or
I
no? You
have
think
no
we're gonna?
idea.
But like that's just gonna spike everything up. Just like I feel like the world is crazy right now. So I finished like I was saying the
Oh,
anime stuff. So
and
now
yeah,
yeah.
no, then
No, yeah.
another one was like, oh, these right wing influencers of like they brought them in to give them give them the Epstein files. I don't know if you heard
Oh
about
yeah, I
that
heard about
thing.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they're like trying to show off that the binder, like, oh, we got the files, and like,
But it's all blacked out. Something like that.
no, no, they go through it, it's like, oh, this has already been released. This is nothing new.
Oh, that's the annoying thing. It's like we keep getting hoodwinked, you know? Like, okay, so they put that task force to figure out like the UAPs, like the Epstein stuff, and like I really think that from what I'm listening to, is I'm listening to like some CIA people, and we are on the rebound from some craziness that happened in like the 1970s, 1980s. So
Hmm.
you and I were born like the 80s, right? Like tail end of the 80s, right? And it's weird because the sins of the father get passed on to the sins of the son kind of thing, right?
Hmm.
And like they just keep getting pushed down the line. So apparently so this is all public record. You know, like the MK Ultra stuff where they're testing like
Oh
um
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like LSD and stuff and whatever. So that was all going on with the CIA. Okay. And it's weird because like all right, as you delve into the UAP stuff, you kind of just tangentially go into CIA stuff because like it's all related, right? And CIA is like Central Intelligence Agency, like you're controlling the intelligence, right? And what happened was the guy that won, like Church, whoever his name is, so he reined everybody in. So they were doing these crazy experiments on people, and they were like, "Well, it's in the interest of the government, it's interest of secrecy." So like the CIA literally ran amok during like the 1970s or something, and then they had the Church Committee where it was named after the church guy,
Hmm.
and they wanted congressional oversight over the CIA. Are you googling it?
I'm curious to know who was the president at the time in the
The church committee?
'60s. No, 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 just
Oh,
the
I think it's
'60s,
like
'70s.
who's that dude who got killed? Kennedy? When
Kennedy
was
may have
Kennedy?
been in the '60s, but there was someone after him, right? Where there was a lot of stuff about the at that
Reagan?
time, Nixon.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not a crook. Oh, I
Yeah, yeah,
forgot
but
about that
like
guy.
remember like and then the whole big the scandal around
Watergate.
that Watergate.
Yeah,
Like there
yeah,
was a
yeah.
lot of
Okay.
stuff that was going on in the government at that time, especially around
Yes.
Nixon, right?
So what it turns out that it seems like what's going on. Yeah, Google that if that's Nixon. So like what it seems like is we have like this anti-grav technology, we have all this secrecy, we have all this like energy stuff, and like the CIA was controlling that information and they were running amok. They were almost like their own shadow government. Like
Hmm.
when they talk about the shadow government, it's the CIA. And people are like, no, that's a conspiracy theory, whatever, whatever. And like the person who was saying all this was an ex-CIA member. He's like against the CIA now. He's
Hmm.
just like he became like a journalist or something. I don't know. But yeah, he was explaining how they're basically like lawless. They were doing whatever they wanted. And then when they got found out, that's when Congress had to step in. And that's what you're seeing now with the UAPs. Like these congressional hearings with the UAPs, we're like, oh, that's like crazy. But it's like, no, we did. America did that in the past as well to like
Hmm.
rein in the CIA government. They literally did the exact same thing. It's like, have you been doing this? Have you been, like in front of Congress, right?
Sure.
But I think it's like the internet is what's making us able to like look into it now and then make the pieces match. Like I could just like order a book about like it's called Crossfire with the JFK's assassination. They say that like the CIA plus the mob killed JFK because JFK was going to release UAP stuff because he's like, oh, we don't need to like keep this secret because there's like energy. And then Clinton also was planning to release it, and then they like dissuaded him because
Hmm.
Bush was I don't Bush senior's something to do with the CIA, so he was also briefed on it. So it sounds like the CIA is like the real, not enemy, but like they believe that they're doing something correct for the government, but there's like no oversight. It's like the MK Ultra thing. Like they're just like, oh, we need to know if this is real, so we're just gonna like test it. But it's like, but you didn't like. There's no participation, like opt-in kind of thing. You just did it willy nilly,
Hmm.
and that's kind of how they're like operating, kind of still. And yeah, it sounds like they're like everyone on that side's like honing in on like reining them back in,
Hmm.
allegedly through these podcasts I'm listening to. Not just about UAP stuff. Like this is more about have you heard of USAID? I guess you can like USAID.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, the controversy around that?
yeah, yeah.
That it's like it's going to like terrorist organizations.
Sure. That's
Okay,
the
so
that's the that's the
the conspiracy.
the yeah.
But that's what Elon Musk allegedly is like slowly uncovering because everyone talks about it. Like again, all these Navy SEALs, all these CIA people, they're like on the ground. We're seeing you guys spending like you're sending all this money, but we're watching it like go actually towards this thing, you
Hmm.
know? And it's like you never know until you're like actually on the ground kind of thing, right? Like what the CIA guy is, he's like a lot of people in Washington, they make all these rules, but they're in like the offices, but they're not on the ground. So they don't actually see. They're like, yeah, of course we're sending like 100K to like this thing, but then they don't see that like that money gets like taken away and like moved towards something else. But you do it all the time. It's like you'll just write like this is for this, and then you won't actually spend it. Do you have a rebuttal to this?
Yeah, they haven't given proof of that yet.
They haven't given proof, but I'm saying, right, they haven't given proof, but all these people are saying it's happening. So that's why they're looking into it. And you're just like, that seems a little corrupt. But again, CCP sounds crazier. Like, I wouldn't want
No, no,
that
but
locked down.
no, no,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is like that. I think the issue is you shouldn't be saying things until you have proof. Then
True.
you're
And
right.
right.
That's the misinformation that's going on. Is if it seems like you're doing something, but you haven't done anything to give proof of
and
what
this
they're
is the problem.
actually doing. That
Yeah, for
right.
sure. And this is the problem with the internet. It's like, okay, so your theory is like this,
Hmm.
and like you're saying your theory, but like you're not you're not corroborating you're not like
Like I think we
you're
talked
not like
about like last time,
yeah.
like people were getting social security checks like who were like 150 years old, but that wasn't the
Yeah, yeah.
fact. That wasn't the
Right,
case,
right,
right?
exactly,
But
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was the misinformation. That was you just posted that thing, the chart, without giving explanation or just saying like, how were these people getting money or something like that. But like
Right, for
that's
sure, for
not
sure.
evidence.
Right. It's not evidence, but like what these CIA people on the ground are saying, or like the ex-CIA people and the ex-Navy SEALs. Actually, Sean Ryan said he worked for the CIA too. They're all saying like they were in like the thing, like they're on the ground and they were seeing it happen. So that's why they're saying like their truth. It's not
Hmm.
like a hypothetical, like it's not like Elon Musk just posting something. It's like,
Hmm.
dude, I'm watching this happen and I need you guys to fix this, right? So
Hmm.
like that's why I'm kind of like, okay, there's something there if you're seeing it, you know, happen. And one thing that one thing that I found interesting, there's this the CIA person, he was saying like America goes around the world trying to give diplomacy or like democracy, like voting, right?
Uh,
Like they go in, they crush, they like you guys need a democratic system.
yeah, but they're not like it's not necessarily going in. Are they going in and invading and telling them to do that, or just
Iraq. So
right?
yeah, yeah. Right. They like basically dismantled, and then they're like, you need a democratic system,
Hmm.
right? So this person, it's on the John Doherty podcast. If anyone's like, oh, what podcast you listen to? It's like the newest one with the CIA guy. I haven't fully finished it, but he started talking about it. I'm like, oh, dude, this is crazy. So he was saying how the insane part about that is zero cultural intelligence. So when he lived and worked in that region, he's like, "Oh, you guys are like you guys don't follow the same rules as us." It would be like me going in and being like, "Vish, why are you eating curry? You should be eating this instead." You're like, "Dog, I spent my whole life eating curry." You know what I mean? And that's like zero cultural intelligence. Is me like pushing myself onto you. So
Hmm.
he's saying that they never lived through a democracy. They lived through this other system that worked for thousands of years, but America came and destroyed everything. It's like, now you guys need a democracy. And then they were like, oh, we need like police officers who are unbiased. So they started bringing police officers from a different region. And then those police officers had nothing to do with the people here. So they just ended up getting killed. Like you're basically bringing in like outside it's like okay, we need an objective third party. So they're gonna take me, send me to Vancouver to police the situation, but the people in Vancouver are pissed, so they kill me. And he's like watching this happen, and he's like, the problem with this is a lot of what we see as like government, like global economic or global what do you call it? Global like what do you call that?
Uh,
It's like global
Upheaval or
politics. Thank you. Global
politics?
politics. Sorry, sorry.
Oh,
My
okay.
brain was fried. Global politics is like it's mainly people who work in like offices that have no idea what's going on. They're just like looking at it on paper and they're like, yeah, it seems like it's the right move.
Hmm.
And I'm like, wow, if that's really what's going on, that is kind of like you're kind of lost. You see that in like big companies too, right? It's like the CEOs like saying like, oh, we should have this going on, but the ground floor people are like, we're suffering, you know?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there's like a disconnect there, but it's because you're in like an ivory tower. You think that you can call the shots, and that's what the CIA guy is pissed off about. He's like, we're making the wrong moves because we're not like we're not actually seeing it. We're just seeing it on paper,
Hmm.
you know. And then it made me think like, how much of our world is kind of like that? Like, does the president actually see what's going on, and like, does he do a tour of Afghanistan? He's like, oh, this looks pretty messed up, guys.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, do we do that? Like, do presidents, prime ministers, do they see like what's on the ground? You know?
Well, they do go sometimes to the place, right? Um, where they go, it would probably be depending on security reasons, right? How safe
Yeah,
they can
right.
keep
Yeah,
the president. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like they're getting more like secondhand reports of what's going on. They have to trust those reports.
Yeah, but there,
You know?
it's not like sure, but there's probably reports from on ground, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So you have
Yeah.
some of these people who are doing a good job and some people who are doing a bad job. So
Hmm.
like he was saying that he used to like oversee some people and then he's like, oh, I need intelligence on this woman. And then the intelligence he got back because he had to brief like the higher ups in Washington, and he's like, the intelligence was all about how she loves hot dogs. He's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this paper?
Hmm.
But it's like because you're getting crappy until like, you have crappy people in the work, you're getting crappy intelligence. Then it's like you're making bad moves. You know,
Sure.
I feel like our Earth is so it's so like big and there's so many moving parts, but we think that it's simpler than it is. You know what I mean? Like one small choice creates a whole domino effect,
Hmm.
you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like with this tariff thing. It's like, did you think that through? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, it's like until he actually does it, or it's just like the problem is it's just causing uncertainty,
Yeah.
right?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, but you didn't think about like, did you not think about like just even saying it freaks people out and they're like, oh, okay, we got to ship our things here. We're going to move this logistically around. It's like,
Hmm.
think before you say it, bro. Like it seems like the Zelensky thing seemed more like a person who's going off the cuff than somebody who's strategically thinking about how to approach this.
Hmm.
When Vance was like, "Did you even thank him? Did you even thank him?" I was like, "What?"
Well, I mean, the amount of times that he's thanked America, I think I've seen that quite a bit. So I don't know what he's talking about in that one, anyways.
But right, and it's like that seemed
It was very
like I get it. It's
like he's going in. It
confrontational.
was very
Yeah,
confrontational, and he's going into a room that was calling him a dictator already, when he's not a
yeah, right.
dictator, right? It doesn't
So
feel.
so
but it's also like he's trying to speak in English. It's not his first language, so I feel like that's also like the frustration that Zelensky's got
True.
when
Fair
he's
point. Yeah,
speaking,
yeah, that's true.
and like, how do you, I don't think he knows exactly how to say things. Because I saw like there was an interview with him on Fox, and there was some word that the guy used, and he didn't understand what the English word what that meant,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
He
Okay.
had to look off camera to the translator to what does that mean? Like I don't understand what that means,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So there's probably in that kind of heated moment, it's not good. Um, but it's also like it seems like America's on the wrong side or is like on the side of Putin, which is very
Dude.
interesting.
Okay, okay, okay. I like that you brought up the Putin thing. But
But
before we go,
I
yeah.
can like what was the thing? Yeah, he's calling him uh what like he called him a dictator, right? Zelensky
Mm.
before, like weeks before this meeting anyways. And I think the day before the meeting the reporter asked him about do you still view him as a dictator? Oh, did I say that? Oh, like
Oh, no way.
like he tried to
Damn. Oh, see, like that's the thing. It's like, bro, you have the internet. We can just rewind it. Especially you can make like a highlight video. You're just like, what are we doing?
Mhm.
You know? And like, and like, it's weird to think that you have everyone makes fun of like Zelensky for being like, oh, he was an actor before. But
Mhm.
Trump was a reality TV star, bro. Like, what are we talking about
Yeah.
here?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
True.
Like,
Yeah.
right? And what I thought was crazy is like speaking of highlight videos, um, when they were all doing the Nazi salutes, and then it made me when I was watching, that's why I made that little highlight video. But when they're all doing the Nazi salutes, I was like, wait, didn't Putin say in his interview that he wants to denazify the world? So then I like made that video of like them all doing the Nazi salutes, and then I brought back that scene where like Putin's talking about like he won't stop until denazification's there, and I was like, interesting that
But he
you
was
brought
using
that
that
up.
at that time. He was using that against for Ukraine,
Yeah, yeah, he was. Yeah, yeah, right. But like, no, but in that thing, he's
right?
like, around the world, there's little Nazi groups that are rising to power. He said like in the full piece, he's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
around about Ukraine, but also around the world, there's
Mm-hmm.
Nazi like neo-Nazi things. And then you see those like Nazi salutes, and you're just like, that's kind of weird.
But then
That is kind of
it,
weird.
it doesn't really make sense because it's also like uh, they're working, or I don't want to say they're working with Putin, but it's like they're aligning with Putin versus
Who?
Zelensky, Trump side.
Right. No, but what I think that Putin's more strategic than that. And I think he knows, like, because, like, oh, we're aligning with Putin. It's like, because you guys are all dumb. Like, like, I don't think Putin's like, oh, you're working with me. I think he's like, oh, you're just tricking the American people. Like, I think he sees it as like, you're just
Mm-hmm.
lying to them, blatantly lying to
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
You know
of
what I mean?
course.
Like, he doesn't seem dumb.
No.
Because
I'm not
in that
saying he's
interview,
dumb. I'm not saying he's
yeah,
dumb. No. I'm just saying like it doesn't. I think for me it didn't make sense because it's like he's uh, if Trump is aligning with Putin, doesn't necessarily mean I'm not saying that Putin is aligning with Trump, right? Um,
yeah. But it's like, but is Trump aligning with Putin, or is Trump just like off the rails?
well, yeah, I mean, like calling Zelensky a dictator and then uh, calling Ukraine the aggressor seems like talking points of Russia.
Right. And is it, oh man, this could be the craziest thing ever. Imagine if like you find out that Russia's actually feeding a lot of money to like Trump's campaign. Like if he really is
There
backed by
was a
like,
lot of that. Remember, not necessarily Trump's campaign, but like the other some of the I forgot the tenant media like found to have connections to like they were being
oh really?
funded by Russia.
Wow, that's crazy. How much money does Russia have, bro? Like, what are we talking about here? You know what I mean? Like I thought their economy's in this the stinker, you
Well,
know?
I think it's like more strategic of where they want to. It's information battle, right? I don't think they're putting money in everywhere. So
One thing that the CIA, because speaking of information, one thing that the CIA guy he said, he's like, what? Okay, so he's like, when when he was in Afghanistan, he saw a lot of poppy fields, right? And he's like,
Hmm.
shouldn't we just destroy these? This is like heroin, right? Like, why are we protecting heroin fields? You know those pictures of like them protecting heroin fields? Like you've seen
Yeah, I
that,
know.
like
I know about
poppy fields.
the poppy seeds. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So like, so he asked like, why are we protecting it? And he's like, because we want like the Russians to be addicted to heroin, right? And then you're like, the interviewer's like, oh, that sounds crazy, right? But he's like, on the flip side, that's kind of what's happening with fentanyl right now. Like, allegedly, China's like sending fentanyl and like
Hmm.
killing all these people, right? And it's like, why are you playing this like crazy? Like you see it on this surface level, and then you see all of these. A great point, great point. Adjustment Bureau. So the reason why I wanted to watch it is Jesse Michaels said that he was interviewing a guy, and the guy said, "That's my job." So I was like, "Oh, what do you mean it's your job?" So I like watched the movie. I was watching it with Tara, and she was like, "Oh, it's a really cool movie." Because basically, what they're doing is they're domino affecting everything. They're changing certain things in specific ways so that it leads to an event, right?
Hmm.
And in that they were like angels, like it's about them being angels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think it was more like an allegory of like this is kind of what the CIA does. And then midway through the movie, because she was like, "Oh, it's a pretty good movie," I was like, "Oh, the reason why I want to watch it is because like a dude said in the CIA that this was his job," and she's like, "No, there's no way." She's like, "What? So you're saying that people are just straight up lying and then they're like manipulating the situation?" I'm like, welcome to the world, bro. Like that is literally what we do. Like you're like, okay, we're gonna strategically align with this person and like make sure that they don't get like this partnership. Like you know what I mean? It's like people are playing on that level of like if we partner with this, what are the domino effects here? If we get this, what if we can
Well,
stop them from
that's I would say
you know
like
what I mean?
yeah, but I would say like that's why intelligence agencies exist, right? You can make
Yeah.
deals with countries, but the intelligence agencies to make sure that these deals are going through, or how
Mm.
do we trust
Yes.
our allies? Is the right like these sort of things are what the intelligence agencies' jobs are.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, we know. So like let's say in a nefarious world, like, but this is really what happens. And then Tara's like mind blown that this happens. I'm like, just my mind is crazy all the time. That's why my mind's crazy, like delving into this UFO stuff and like learning more about the realities of how government works. You're just like, dude, this is insane. So like let's say that you want this partnership deal to go through. You're like, all right, we need these two people to meet at this point. But then you find out that, okay, there's a third buyer who's going to intercept and offer a bigger deal. So what does the intelligence agency do? They car bomb that person. So they can't even make it to the meeting. They're like,
Hmm.
we need, and then you're like, hey, that sounds crazy. There's no way we do that. It's like, they don't tell people about it. It's plausible deniability, but it's definitely going on. Like in these third world countries, like they are they are making because the rules of law are different and there's less like oversight.
Hmm.
And if you don't think that a country will do something like that, I feel like that's crazy naive.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
don't,
Of
you
course,
don't
yeah.
think that they're going to like if they're like we need these trade route partners to meet so that they can make this deal because it'll be better for both of our countries. And then you find like, oh, China's actually going to send their own trade deal person. Like, of course you're going to kill that dude, bro. Like remember the who's like the person who was hiding. He went into the it was like an embassy. He went into the embassy and then he died somehow in the embassy. And they're like, we don't know how he died. He just disappeared from the embassy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was like the Russians did that or something,
No,
or
no,
I can't
no.
remember who it was.
I think it was Saudi Arabia.
Americans, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, and they're just like, I don't know what happened.
It was an
He's just gone
American. It
now.
was an American journalist,
Can you
Middle
believe
Eastern
that? Right? Yeah.
background, right? Middle Eastern background, and these Saudis did. I don't know if it was inside a Turkish embassy or their own. I don't know which embassy it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Right. So
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
dog, it happens.
yeah, yeah.
Like, right? But we're just like not really paying attention to it. We're not like talking about it. But that's what these, like you said, like intelligence agent make sure that things go according to plan. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's what the movie was about. Like, obviously, it's about like angels and like God and stuff. But
Sure.
like, if you take that as an allegory for like the CIA, yeah, their job is to make sure things go according to plan.
Hmm.
You know. which is crazy because they're like, dude, what else is going on that we
I
don't
mean, there
even
was a
see?
yeah. I can think of other things, but there was what was the one I watched? It was the Oslo Accords,
Mm.
where that was done in secret without Americans knowing, between Israel and at that time I think it was Yasser Arafat's people,
Okay.
or at least the Palestinian government. I don't know what I don't think it was the. I think they were connected to Yasser Arafat. Anyway, so that meeting happened in secret in Oslo
Mm.
without the Americans knowing to try to get a deal done. Supposedly a deal was done, um, which was then told to the Americans, and that was when Bill Clinton was there in office, which was
Oh, interesting.
then it was like sort of signed off or like agreed on inside of America or in American soil, and I think it was the what made it all go wrong was the assassination of the Israeli prime minister.
Oh, damn. Okay.
How did that happen? Yeah, in the 90s.
Well, but you're like, countries are gangs, bro. Like gangs
Mm-hmm.
do this stuff all the time, and it's like, why? The only reason why you're upset about the gang is because they're not playing by your rules. Like, we need you to pay taxes and like blah blah. That's like literally extortion, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. Like, we pay taxes to keep the roads going, totally. But you also pay the mob boss to make sure that your store keeps running. You
Right.
know, like, or we're gonna blow up your store. You know, so it's the same but different, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we just call one legal and one not legal.
Mm-hmm.
But they really do run these operations all the time. Even in like, you're like, oh, it's just like America and like Thailand. Remember that thing about the Thai prince or something? Or he got off the plane and then there's the guy who sneezed in his face and then he died of some crazy disease. And like, yeah, it's because he got sneezed that this powder
Mm-hmm.
that like, dude, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, you like,
Or like
you,
the what did they?
yeah.
That was the assassination of I think Kim Jong Un's brother or sister. I
Oh,
don't remember.
yeah. I
Remember
heard about
that
this.
in that airport?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like he got stabbed by like a needle, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, but he
something
like,
like
got
that.
touched,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like, oh, he had a needle inside the touch.
Mm-hmm.
Something he got like poisoned. Dude, like this is the job of the Central Intelligence Agency. Like
Mm-hmm.
make sure things go according to
But the thing
plan.
is, yeah, a lot of the times that we don't get it on the news is we never knew that
When they've yeah,
they've
exactly.
saved us, right?
It's like Kingsman. Like
Yeah.
remember that movie? And he has like all these newspapers on the wall of like these mundane things and then
Mm-hmm.
Eggsy comes in, he's like, "Why do you have all these newspapers of regular events?" He's like, "All of these were days that I saved. Like, could
Mm-hmm.
have been like the end of the world, but nobody knew about it on
Yeah.
those days. So I like to remember it through
Yeah.
those." And it's like, that's pretty genius, but also like that really does happen, bro.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't know about it, like then yeah, like
Like,
no
and it
one's the
becomes like
wiser.
just regular news. Like, oh, they just arrested these guys who were terrorists. But we didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah, you're
realize,
like,
like,
oh, it's President
yeah,
terrorist,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. But like, we didn't realize if that plot actually happened, how devastating that would have been, right?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, you know what's even crazier about that too? It's like Eric Prince? Have you heard of him?
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
so I'm listening to Sean Ryan interview Eric Prince because like Blackwater.
Yeah, I heard it. Seems like
Okay,
familiar.
so during the 9/11 stuff, a lot of ex-military people started like kind of like being a Navy SEAL wasn't the best job. So this guy started his own company. He was a Navy SEAL as well, and it's called Blackwater. So it's basically mercenaries. Remember the game Army of Two?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Like private military corps.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest one was called Blackwater. And they didn't just do like Afghanistan. They would be hired out by the the American government to do like I was it FEMA or something. There was like some sort of issue that like Hurricane Katrina or something. I don't remember, but
Okay.
he was talking about it. And then they just hired Blackwater because like it's like special. Like you're a special unit, so like we just hired you for like protection and stuff, right? And what he was saying is that yeah, like like all of these things that you see are like like not what they're made out to be, and the reason why Blackwater got into a lot of heat and why he got like outed is because they put his name out there. So he's like, he was a regular guy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just like Jake Barber, the UFO guy. So
Mm-hmm.
like we're talking about like this all CIA stuff, and you're like, oh, dude, they're keeping stuff from the American people, whatever, whatever. But it's like they also have this thing called NOCs, non-official covers, right? So he's like, on the outside, we all look like normal people, but underneath, we're running operations. Like nobody knew he was the CEO of Blackwater, Eric
Mm-hmm.
Prince. He was just like this millionaire dude who like made lots of money through like contracts, just like Jake Barber. Jake Barber owns a Gracie Jiu Jitsu school. He literally just posted the other day like rolling with my friends, like, and then like he also has like a helicopter thing. So it's like you think it's one thing, but underneath it's like we're all working for the government
Mm-hmm.
as a spy, right? And then he got dragged through the media because they accidentally or on purpose leaked his name. Like they're like,
Okay.
oh, he's like, whenever you're supposed to like bring people. So he was like brought to Congress in order to like talk about his war crimes or something. But you're supposed to give a fake name because you're a knock. But they used his real name, and then that's when the media storm hit. They're like, oh, you're like the CEO, you know what I mean? So it's like with Knox running around, bro. How do you trust anything? You have the CIA with like making sure things go according to plan, and then you have like Knox who are like regular people, but they actually run covert ops. You're like, okay, what is going on here, guys? You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, doesn't that make you feel more like there's a game,
Sure. Yeah.
right? And then like people like Tara was like, there's no way this is like insider trading. How do you know? Blah blah. And it's just like, no, this is really going on. And it's like, oh, I just don't want to know about that then.
Mm-hmm.
It's like too much information. Is it just me, or you're just like, I don't know, like, is it? Because then on one end you're like, that's really bad, and then on the other end you're like, but that's how we preserve things. Maybe I just don't want to know, you know?
Right.
Or do you think that because what they're saying is like through transparency we can write all these things, but it's like if we add transparency, we might all be like, this is kind of messed up. Like that's what the CIA guy on the podcast was saying. He's like, the way to fix this is transparency. But the problem is if you have transparency, a lot of people are going to be like, this is not the right move. Like, why are you guys
It
doing
depends
this?
on how much transparency, because you can't give all the information to your enemies, right?
For sure, for sure. But like that's what they want congressional oversight for. Because they're like, CIA is
Yeah.
going haywire, but we need congressional oversight. But if you have congressional oversight, it becomes public knowledge. And that's where people are like, the media storm, he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why they want to keep the whole UAP thing secret because like there's some crazy stuff that, has been going on in relation to that. Like
Mm-hmm.
one of the main ones that I'm starting to hear come out is when they're trying to reverse engineer the UAP, they use nuclear reactors, like in like mini nuclear reactors to like power the vehicle, right? But sometimes the thing will be downed and then Jake Barber, like people like that, the retrieval team, they're also retrieving the downed craft that they messed up on, but they don't know what's in the box. So like Jake Barber's like, we never know what's in the box. We just pick up the box, we move the box. That's our job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he started to get like skin cancer. Like he got all these like weird issues, not cancer. Like his like skin was falling off, and he's like, "What the hell?" And then Gary Nolan, who's a virologist or something, he's like, "It seems like you have radioactive poisoning, but you didn't know it was in the box, so it could have been like you're transporting like a downed energy vehicle that's like cracked open and like you're right next to plutonium. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the oversight that they're saying. Like we need to know what's in the box so we can offer hazmat suits, blah blah blah. So it's like with the whole UAP issue, you might realize that like it's just like the um the LSD experiments. You know, it's like we were just doing willy nilly stuff and no oversight.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem realistic to you, or like as to why, as another reason why you'd want to keep it secret aside from like the energy issue?
Uh, I'm not sure. Maybe, but there was like other things that were like what was the other? I forgot what they called them, but it was like when they were in Afghanistan or I would say Iraq, they had the pits. Uh,
What? Okay, sounds interesting.
burn pits, and they were burning a lot of these things, and a lot of them. This is where they fought against the government in order to get. This is what Biden also fought for, which was to help the soldier because they had like poison, like because they're breathing in that
Oh,
stuff. There's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
like poisonous air, right? So they had to get help for
Med
that kind of
suits.
stuff. No, no, not just med suits. No, because they've been surrounded by it. They didn't realize that they were breathing in their
Oh,
this
it's like
levels of poison.
medical
Yeah, they needed medical
medical
help and
care.
stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally, totally.
This was something that I think even Jon Stewart was like fighting for some time.
So then there's like a non UAP related alternative. Like it's like, oh, they've already done it. Because
Hmm.
like, like, oh, well, why would they do that? Like if they know that there's radioactive stuff inside the box, why would they get Jake Barber and his team to go bring it? It's like they openly did that in your example. You know what
Well,
I
yeah,
mean? So it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
so it's like how
They didn't know
big of a
that
leap?
they didn't know what the burn pits like how poisonous that stuff was, right?
Just like
What
Jake Barber. Just move.
if your base is like kind of next to it and you're staying there for a while, right? These are
Exactly.
long term effects, right? So if it's a radiation thing, I would assume that they should know that they should have something to be able to protect themselves for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And that's one of the additional things. Like we're talking about like energy and like free energy and stuff. Like sure, but like let's talk about just a very basic example of that thing. And that's what a lot of people like Jake Barber's and them, he's coming forward with that because he's like, we need to know what's in the box because our like health and safety is at risk. But then it shows you that like military people are just like pawns, bro. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like to the upper like people in the ivory towers, they're just like, yeah, send some units in, whatever. Oh, they died? That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they got radioactive poison? That's crazy. Like it's almost like you don't care, but then these people are like asking for help.
Hmm.
Like these like top tier people. It's a wild world, with all this like craziness. Um, okay, so yesterday, like it was prepping for it, and the CE5 thing that I was saying, like I sent you, like, oh, there's gonna be a global CE5 thing. I haven't checked the news yet, so I don't know if like there's actually like global UFO sightings all around the world, but that's what their goal was. Um, so so I finished anime, like I was saying, and I'm watching um Three Body Problem now.
Oh yeah.
And because you kept referencing it, you're like, well, it could be like Three Body Problem. I'm like, what do you mean? And then now I'm watching, I'm like, oh, the Chinese girl is like Stephen Greer. I see what you mean now. Like maybe he's trying to like bring them in, but they're gonna take over, right?
Hmm.
Because he's like, yeah, like, they're benevolent beings. Well, that's what they said in Three Body Problem too. So I get
Hmm.
where you're coming from. But also at the same time, I'm like, I'm kind of with you because the world's kind of sounding messed up right now. Like, how many people watch Three Body Problem and were like, yeah, we could use some intervention right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
It sounds like it's a little like going over all of this stuff. I'm kind of like, when are we gonna when are we gonna evolve as a species? Like theoretically, Stephen Greer is saying that we can't travel interstellarly because we're being suppressed by the other alien races. Okay, like they don't want us to go out into the universe because even though we have the technology, they don't want us to go out there because we'll be like a hostile species. They're kind of like maybe, but then in the Three Body Problem, there's this scene where he was talking about the wolf in sheep's clothing.
Hmm.
You remember like the Red Riding Hood, and then the
Yeah.
Santi was like why would but they know it's a wolf. No, no, but they don't know it's a wolf. He's like concealing their opinion and then the Santi was like, wait, you guys lie? And then they're like, yeah, and then the Santi, the gods, the aliens, were like, we can't trust you anymore. And I was
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that is us though. We
Hmm.
do that all the time. Like in the scene, he's like, we lie all the time. And you're like, bro, is that what's keeping us back? Like, because Stephen Greer is like, we need to evolve into a higher state of consciousness in order to like stop warring with ourselves. When we stop warring with ourselves, we can go into space because then we're not a threat to those beings.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like, if those beings have evolved to a place where like they're beyond lies, like they can read each other's minds, let's say,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
then we're just straight up like lying to them, like, yeah, we want peace, and then we take over their country, like, or their world. I'm like, we do that here already. Like we just talked about like CIA ops and like how do we know we won't continue to do that
Hmm.
beyond the earth, you know?
Hmm.
Like
Right.
maybe we really are the problem. I don't know. Like like looking at it, you're kind of like, this seems a little weird what you guys are doing. Are we sure we want to venture down this path?
Hmm.
Like what do you think? Do you think like they have a point? Do you think like maybe that's just how humans are? I don't know. Like give
Yeah.
me like a positive spin on this because I'm kind of like this is really negative, guys. Like I'm kind of with the Santi right now. You know what I mean? Like we
Right.
need to
Right.
chill
Right.
out.
But I think our level of consciousness has grown, but also we've also there's setbacks, right? We can see who's in office,
Yeah.
so there's some setbacks. People just lying to get power,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the issue because no one is aligned on ideologies. We have different viewpoints of the world, and I think when we have that kind of thinking, there will be people that lie, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but then the thing is, then you're asking for, do we need a one world government, one mind thing? But
Like a
then
hive
we're,
mind,
yeah, well, which is also like kind of
seems like imprisonment.
it seems like imprisonment, which is what we're against. So it's like,
Yeah.
uh, right?
Right? It's
Maybe,
like paradoxical.
yeah,
You're
exactly.
like, do you want freedom or do you want to lie? You know, because you have the
Mm-hmm.
freedom to lie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we should take away lies. Oh, you take away my freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's kind of spinning it on its head. But if you are, if you are an evolved state of consciousness, like if you understand how the game is played, you're like, maybe I wouldn't want to lie to you because that means that there'd be more negative ramifications. So it's like not that you don't have the ability not to lie, you just opt not to lie.
Mm-hmm.
That would be more of like an evolved state of consciousness because you're like, oh, I see the ramifications of this decision. Because a lot of people are making some really bad decisions out here, and you're just like, not even like at a government level, just like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
regular
sure,
person,
sure,
you're just
sure.
making bad decisions. You're like, can't trust you with those anymore. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So like, if like, how do we move towards it? I just don't know. You know, it's like
We're just not at all involved enough. Maybe that's the thing.
that's the point.
We're
Yeah.
still, yeah.
And that's why, like in the three body problem, they're like, maybe we need to, because she in the three body problem, she grew up in like China and she saw like her family slaughtered and she was in prison. And she's like, no, we need to stop this. And then listening to that dude who like lived in Beijing, right in the beginning of the podcast, like, we need to stop that, bro. That sounds crazy. You lock
Mm-hmm.
down the whole building, slaughter all the animals. What are we talking about, bro?
Yeah.
On a hunch, you didn't even know. Like I was telling Tara that she's like, "Oh, it sucks because you found out later that you can't even transmit COVID through animals. So you just
Yeah.
killed all those animals for nothing, bro."
Right.
Like that's crazy. That's what happens
Mm-hmm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
have like a totalitarian government.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're like, dude, it's 2025. How do you still have this going on? Like I get North Korea because that's crazy, but like China, really? Dude, they make our stuff, you know?
They just
I'm
want
friends
us.
with Chinese people.
They want us to keep staying in power, right? So this is the thing.
Yeah. But that is why you might need celestial intervention. You know, like even actually even in the Adjustment Bureau, they talked about that where like they're like, "Oh, are you an angel?" And he's like, "We gave you free will, and look what you did with it. You brought
Mm-hmm.
us like so there were like moments where we decided to step in and we gave you the Renaissance period and all that, and then like we stepped out and you kept like destroying what we built, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and like we need to jump back in to help you guys in the Adjustment Bureau,
Yeah.
because like you've already brought the world to the brink of destruction and climate catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
We need to like set this course again. You know what I mean? Like not saying that angels are real and stuff, but like with the whole UAP thing, like maybe we all need to like Jake Barber's story where he's like, I was flooded with the feeling of love. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what is that? That sounds like the Holy Spirit to me, bro. Like
Right.
it's analogous to like a
Sure.
Jesus
Sure.
intervention,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like something was talking to me and it's in me now and it's guiding me, it's protecting me. I'm like, that's some Santi type, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like three
Mm-hmm.
body
Mm-hmm.
problem type stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right? And you're just like, is three body problem real? What are we talking about here? Because like in that scene when he's on the ship and they're like, remember they're like blind belief, like if they will it, it will happen. I'm like, that's like God, bro. Like what are we talking
Yeah.
about? Right? It's
Right.
become a religious experience. And like
Mm-hmm.
listening to Jake Barber talk, I'm like, that kind of sounds like a religious experience, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was filled with love and like, and you're just like, what are you saying, bro? But could they be using that sensation of love to make us believe that they're benevolent?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
possible.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, I get what you mean now when you're like, this could be three body problem. I'm like, I see what you mean because like they are in it, bro. They like believe that this is God.
Right.
But the God fully said we're here to take over your world.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, the hell? You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Unless it's lost in translation. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'll wait till the end. I'll wait till the end. I haven't. I'm like at episode 4, but I'm just like, what's going on, bro? Okay, I'm running out of time because I gotta get ready for this thing. But just one thing that I wanted to bring up that I thought was super crazy. Um, so actually, but before I bring that up, just a quick thing. So you know what's really weird? How much of a time suck our phones are.
Oh yeah.
So what I mean by, dude, no, but like time
Yeah,
warp. So like I had to
yeah.
go. I during that snow day, I like dropped Tara off at work because in like Burlington, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like wait around because I couldn't park the car because there's so
Mm-hmm.
much snow. So she went in, and then I went to the mall as I had done in the past. It's like whatever, it's no big deal for me. But I had to wait like 4 hours for her.
Okay. Yeah.
You're like, dog, 4 hours a long time, bro. You know, what I mean? Like you hear it, you're like 4 hours a long time. I went on my phone and I was like, oh my God, I'm late. It's like I burned the 4 hours and I was running late. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, bro, how much of a time suck is the phone? Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even feel the 4 hours pass by. I was just like doing things and then like,
Well,
you
this is
know,
what they're saying, right? Like this is the the it's about attention, right?
yeah, attention
Social media,
economy.
it's the attention economy, right? They're not really facing like other like the apps. The social media apps are actually competing with like Netflix or like that. These are the attention
Yeah.
uh, competition that's happening, right? So it's like me going on Netflix or scrolling through TikTok, right? It's
Yeah,
just
totally. Yeah, yeah. Where
it's
am
the
I
same.
gonna? Yeah, for sure. And the crazy part is I spent that 4 hours on Instagram, bro. I was like, oh yeah, this is a cool jujitsu move. Well, let me post this thing. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
real time, bro.
that's it's really bad.
It's like wild. And you don't even feel it, which is
Hmm.
like, and then that scared me because I was like, how did I burn 4 hours? Oh my God. Like, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
But I guess it's also good because like there's some parts when it's like really boring. Like on a 5 hour flight, you're like, I need a video game, bro. Like, what are we doing here?
Hmm.
You know, like there's certain moments where it's like very
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
beneficial.
Of course, yeah. But that like that 4 hours could have been done. You could have done something else. Like sometimes you
Yeah,
feel
totally.
like,
Like,
oh,
yeah, yeah,
I
totally,
had time
totally.
for this other thing and I just wasted my time
Yeah, totally, totally, totally.
here.
But that's the all right. So the last thing I wanted to bring up, it's related to this, but not directly. But it's about like sentience. So like knowing how things work. So it's like okay, this like I knew I had 4 hours. So I'm like okay, I could probably just like not even feel it if I went on my phone, and I really didn't feel it. I was like late,
Mm,
right? And but it's like it's the sentience of knowing how tools work. You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there's this actually I'll make it a personal story because this did happen like in a different way, but that's more of like a confidential, I guess. So like I'll just talk about myself. So I woke up in the middle of the night 2 days ago because it was from 1 to 4 in the morning. I couldn't sleep, but because my brain was problem solving,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, I understand what you're doing, brain. This doesn't happen all the time. We're gonna let this go. We're just gonna let it problem solve, right? And then last night, the reason why I'm like kind of foggy is because it happened again because I was problem solving for today because I have like all these like client things to do, like tattoo touch out, like so many things
Hmm.
that are just like coming up that I need to like manage. So my brain was like taking the time in the middle of the night to like plot it out,
Right.
like do this, do this, do this, and then I like wake up like write it down, right? And but you know what's happening,
Hmm.
like I know what's happening, like a body, you're going through a problem solving phase, cool. Don't make it all the time, but I will let you do it this one time because you need to get it out.
Hmm.
I need to get this out, right? So, how many people wake up in the middle of the night? They don't know what's going on. They don't even have that connection to be like, oh, okay, my body's doing this, or like it's trying to problem solve. Or let's say it's giving you the solution, but you don't want to listen. So, like during the daytime, you're making the same mistake. And then every time you go to sleep, you're always making like dude, stop doing this, bro. Like you fix
Yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah.
And then you're like, you go to the doctor then. You're like, oh, I'm having insomnia. Oh, why having insomnia? You're like, I don't know. I can't sleep. So they give you sleeping pills.
Hmm.
So when they give you sleeping pills, sure, you don't wake up in the middle of the night to problem solve, but you bury it deeper. And then when you bury it deeper, your waking life, it's like pushed down deep, and then you start getting anxiety during the day.
Hmm.
And you're like, oh, like, why am I having all this anxiety? Right. And and then you go to the doctor again, you're like, dude, I have anxiety. Why have anxiety? I also can't sleep. Okay, so here's Prozac for your waking life and benzos for your nighttime life. We are literally living in like a drugged state. Not
Hmm.
us, but like people are living in a drug state simply because they didn't have that connection to themselves, or they're like, oh, I see what you're doing. You're problem solving and you want me to fix this problem.
Hmm.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
I think that is when we're talking about lower states of consciousness, like how do you evolve into higher states of consciousness? I think it's just like getting in tune with your body. Cause like, what does that mean when people are like, oh, you just need to tap in, bro. You just need to like build a connection with self. And you're like, that's so arbitrary. What do you mean? But it's like literally just listening. Like I woke up and I was like, oh, I got what's going on.
Hmm.
But like how many people know what's going on? Or they're just like, oh, my brain's racking.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? Like
Yeah.
we are living in a drug state simply because we've been making bad decisions.
Hmm.
Because your body and your mind are trying to help you solve the problem, you know?
Yeah.
And if you make a bad decision, but then you're stuck in that bad decision, and then you're
Hmm.
like, damn, I can't sleep, bro. Just numb it. Okay, cool. Oh, it's manifesting in my waking life. All right, numb it again.
Hmm.
And you are literally in this drugged state all the time
Yeah.
because of like problems.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crazy, right? Mind blow. That was a mind blow for me. Like I was just thinking about it, I was like, whoa, that's why our society's sick.
Hmm.
That's why our society's sick. Why? Because we are just numbing ourselves in waking and dreaming states in order to keep doing what we're doing. I don't know what you think. Revelation, or you're like, well, it makes sense.
No, I
No.
think I've had that idea before. But that's why like I don't take drugs in general
I'm
sense.
taking Advil, bro. Like, yo,
Yeah,
come
no,
on, man.
I don't take like I think that was
Yeah,
from
yeah,
like a long time ago. Just I think the body can handle this on its own. Like I don't need Tylenol. I don't need.
yeah. Fair, fair, fair.
I haven't taken Tylenol in a long time.
Totally. I'm a shaman, so I like to like use all the tools, bro. That's a tool that's gonna work. All right, cool. What's the negative ramifications? Not that much. All right, I'm gonna take it, bro. Like I
No, no,
I
I
like to
understand,
use,
but that's
you
why it's
know.
like that was like something that I noticed like long ago. So I don't really uh, like if I get sick, okay, I can handle it. I'll just whatever soups and
Yeah, my
things like
body
that.
will. Yeah, yeah,
I'll do
totally. Yeah,
that. I'm not doing like Benadryl or whatever else, right? Like I'm not
yeah,
doing
yeah,
that.
totally. But like,
It's just
I
something
totally
that
get what you're
was
saying.
there. Yeah, but like, that's just me, right? I'm sure the thing is like if people have things to do or they need to be focused, what I
Yes,
think has happened is just that uh they people don't want like look into the root cause. They just want to solve a solution,
that's what it is. That's what it
right?
is.
So when that's generally what's happening. Like they're not going to get help. And a lot of the times they're not going to get help earlier on. They're going at a later time when they're
Yeah.
like it's already too much, right?
Yes, yes,
And then now it's
yes,
just like they don't want to work on it to get it fixed, so they just want a drug to get it fixed.
yes,
Which is like yeah,
yes.
right?
No, no, no. But not necessarily. They don't want to work on it. It's who did you go to for advice? So the medical industry will push like pharmaceuticals because they make money off of it. But that's why I really like Tara's profession of like naturopathy because like when I had the high blood pressure, like they would have been like, yeah, monitor it, and then oh, it's too high. Okay, cool. Here's some blood pressure medications. She's like, you're too young to be having high blood pressure. What's going on? And then she's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're snoring a lot. Maybe you have sleep apnea. And it literally fixed my high blood pressure. Like I am at optimal blood pressure now. I went from like 140 to 120 over 17.
Mm-hmm.
Like it took like maybe a few days or like not, it wasn't even long. It wasn't even a month. But it's like just having proper oxygen while I'm sleeping. Because if you can't breathe
Sure.
while you're sleeping, you're never fully sleeping because your body's in a fight or flight state, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
But a lot of people live with like this issue. If you snore, like you might have some sleep apnea. And they gauged me as minor. So I went to the guy and I went to the doctor, and then they were like, I was like, oh, I'm kind of sleeping. I think I need sleep apnea, blah, blah. Like, Tara told me all the things to say. So, like, I go there, and then the guy was like trying to put me off. He's like, these things don't really work, whatever, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah,
Hmm.
for sure.
Hmm.
He's like, it's probably like it's your diet, bro. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go get sleep apnea testing, and they're like, you have very minor sleep apnea. What are you here for? I'm like, oh, my blood pressure is a little high. They're like, yeah, that's not that high, like 140. But Tara's like, that's high for like you're pretty athletic, so you shouldn't be that high,
Hmm.
right? So I'm like, yeah, let me just try it, whatever, whatever. And it literally cured it. And it's like, but two people told me no. Tara told me do it. And it's just
Hmm.
like that root cause. It's like, what is the real issue here, bro?
Right.
But we're not like searching for it.
Hmm.
But it's like, why don't we all just do that? Why don't they all just like simple? It's because, well, her being in the profession now that she's giving these like solutions, it's like, oh, you just can't make money off of it.
Hmm.
Like that's the only reason why like these other solutions are not being pushed, right? And I'll even give you one better example. So biohacking. Have you heard of biohacking?
No.
Okay, so it's basically like how you optimize your body's functioning given excessive protocols. So like waking up and doing a cold plunge, right? You've heard of
Hmm.
that, cold plunges
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
saunas, cold plunge sauna, right? Those are like quote unquote biohacking, or like, oh, let me just take like turmeric, like biohacking. And I was like, like maybe we should get like a cold plunge and like whatever. And like, she's like, why? And then I'm like, oh, like biohacking. And she's like, I don't believe in biohacking. I'm like, why? And she's like, why don't you get the 99% of things correct first, and then the 1% is the biohack? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, proper sleep, eat some veggies, get some exercise.
Yeah.
If those things don't fix you, sure, try the biohack. But
Hmm.
like, she's like, instead of waking up at 5 in the morning to do your meditation and cold plunge, just sleep until 8.
Yeah.
And you're like, but that's not marketable. But now biohacking's in. Like, buy this cold plunge, buy this sauna.
Hmm.
You know, it's like in vogue.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But how crazy are we as a society? It's so commercial. It's like we really don't care about like regular health. We care so much more about money and profit, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Imagine if your doctor was just like, maybe sleep 8 hours. You'd be like, wait, there's no pill? Nah, just sleep 8 hours.
Yeah.
What? You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's good doctors that do that. Yeah.
There are good doctors, but like it's not a standard profession. It's like as a naturopath, you're looking at it like holistically. So you're looking at like the natural solution. Basically, like a doctor's like sick care. It's like, oh, it's gone too far. I
Yeah.
need
That's what I'm
something,
saying. Yeah.
some
Where it's gone too
intervention.
far. Yeah. Generally, when people
Yeah.
go see doctors, it's gone too far.
Yeah. Right. 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 But there's a way to like mitigate it in the process.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's an education thing that people don't know about. Like,
They don't, dude.
right.
And that's like, but why don't you educate people about it? Because like it doesn't make money. You know.
No, it's not. I think it's we have to fix our. In that sense, we have to fix our education system to be able to teach people about health. Right. We don't have that. Right.
Yeah. No, we don't. But I feel like it should be a staple. It's
Sure.
like,
Sure.
you know, like that to me is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm all for stimulants, like I said, like shaman, like I'm drinking all this coffee, like no tomorrow because I didn't sleep. But like, and like you'd be like, well, I can power through it because the body can do it. I'm like,
Well, I'm
technologies,
not. I'm not
bro.
really powering through it. I think I got my.
Oh.
That's like I always believed in that 8 hours of sleep. Like
No,
I
no, no.
don't.
No. I'm talking about Advil. No,
Oh, you're
no,
talking
no,
about
not
that.
that. No, no, not the biohacking. Like, yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm talking about like the. I'm talking about like the how you're like, oh, I don't take Advil. Like Tara doesn't either, and I'm like, good for you guys, but like it's 2025. We got some technology, bro. It's like when I'm like today, I'm getting a tattoo touch up, and I always numbing cream.
Yeah.
And people are like, "You're such a wimp," and I'm like, "So we have technology for a reason,
Sure.
guys. Like,
Sure.
you made me coffee so that I could wake up. You
Hmm.
know? Yeah. But I mean, that's that video like Maybe that's a psychosis too, though, because it's like that's that video game mentality. You know, when you're like in a video game, you're like, I need this elixir to like boost my magic power.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
so I could cast more spells. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's kind of like that. You know,
Hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, it can feel
Yeah,
like that, but like I feel like maybe I just don't know. I don't drink coffee, so it's like you know what I
dude.
mean.
No, no, no. You and Tara said the exact same thing. Like, I just don't know. So one of her friends was like, I don't know how you can like survive without coffee. And then Tara's like, Am I missing something? I'm like, honestly, when I drink coffee, I'm like, oh, I'm awake. I'm like you get a kind of foggy and you're just it clears up,
Hmm.
you know? And then she's like, I've never had that feeling. I'm like, that's the coffee. That's what everyone feels on coffee. You take that first sip, you're like, I'm good. It's like it's
No, I
like
understand it. I get it, but it's like I think I feel pretty good awake. I don't know if I need that.
totally. Totally, totally,
That's the
totally.
second
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, totally, totally, totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. It almost feels like you know when you like wash your face in the morning? It's like that. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, like for me, like in order to be feeling awake, I guess I just need a shower, like a good shower.
yeah, yeah, it's like a shower. It's like a shower. That's so correct. Like midway through my workday, if I'm like too stressed, I'll take a shower to like refresh and just be like, okay, we're back into it, you know?
Mm,
But like that is the same feeling. It is that
mm,
feeling of like you're like, okay, we're good.
right.
But it's like easier because you just drink the coffee and you're just like it's
No, no, I get
instantaneous.
that. But but you know, like I would say even like a shower, technically a tool, because we wouldn't. This is all modern
Totally.
stuff. This is not
That is, bro.
right.
Yeah.
This is modern
How
stuff.
often how often do we have like showers back in the day? Like even hot water, like that
Yeah,
is
no, it's such a
rare.
difficult process. You gotta go boil the water and then like
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, so that's why I don't get oh damn, I'm running out of time. That's why I don't care about like camping. Like when people are like, "Oh, let's go camping," and like
I always
I'm like,
feel like
"Why? Why?" It's so like dirty. You know, like I don't
right.
know. Yeah. It's funny. Let me ask you this. All right, final thing. Um, it's not all right. Are you opposed to nature or are you opposed to camping?
Well, I don't know what that means.
Like
Um,
like like if we went
just
through a
camping.
walk
I
through
don't like
Twin View.
camping. I don't like camping. I don't
I
mind
don't like
walking
camping either,
through.
bro.
I don't mind hiking.
Yeah, same. Okay, okay. So so I made that post about like diverse voices, this book that I was a part of. And like it in it it's funny because I was just writing about my real experience, like about us growing up and like in like Port Union and like going through Twin Rivers, and like I was saying that in the industry that I work in, it's almost like you're not really an outdoor person unless you like camp for 7 days in the middle of nowhere and like we bring no food, there's no bathroom, and you're just like, dog, you're marketing to like one type of person, but I'll go hiking,
Hmm.
I'll go rock climbing. We'll do whatever, but let
Yeah.
me go home at the end of the night to
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
shower.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I was just being honest, right? Because like a lot of people like in my industry, like they're like if you're not willing to rough it, you ain't about that life. And I'm like, I guess I'm not about that life, you know? But then when I put that thing out, all these BIPOC people were like, oh, that's me. And I was like,
Mm.
thank you. Finally somebody said it. You know what I mean? Like I'll go. Just let me sleep at home, bro. I need a shower. Like I'm not
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
sleep
Yeah.
outdoors with you guys, bro. You
Right.
know? And the fact that you admitted it, and I know like a bunch of other people who admitted it too. It's
Hmm.
like it just needs to be said. You know, like nature is for everyone, bro. But like we love modernity. There's a
Yeah.
reason why we have hot showers, bro. I don't want to like bathe in the lake as my morning you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Right.
oh we're gonna go bathe up. All right, cool. Where's the outhouse bathroom? Something like that. No, we're going to the lake. Oh no, bro. There's some like bugs in there.
Yeah.
Get a
Yeah. Yeah.
spider in my hair or something. You know what I mean? Like, bro, what are we doing? You know? It's
Right.
okay, it's nature, bro. It's nature. I don't want the mosquitoes to bite me, bro. Like, what are we
Mm.
doing out here? You know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. We need to find I don't know, we just need to find more of that balance of like nature, modernity, not wars, wars, you know, like guys, there's like some sort of balance we need to achieve. and I don't know if we'll ever hit it. Oh, we might. I mean, if you release the UAP stuff, and then because like infinite resources, maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. But
I still
until then,
don't.
I'm with.
Again, it's like I understand infinite resources, but maybe it's just only one specific type of energy. But
True. Yeah.
it's still materials. We still need materials. Like I don't know, like if we're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
It's not like
Yeah. Yeah.
mining's gonna stop the next day.
Yeah. 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 Like we still need silver. We still need copper. We need to build these
Cobalt,
things.
yeah,
Yeah. Cobalt. You know, it's like yeah. Until then, I'm with the Santi, bro. You guys got to come save us because that's great. Like
hmm
we are a pretty crazy beast. But it's like, how many times do you have to keep hearing the same thing before you're like, oh, you guys are right?
hmm
You know what I mean? Like, how many people, the Matrix is telling us that we're a virus,
hmm
you know? And like, the three body problem's telling you that we're out of control.
hmm
It's like, how many times you need to hear it before you wake up and are like, oh, our society's kind of messed up.
hmm
I don't know. All right.
Yeah,
Any final thoughts on it? Yeah.
we've been doing it for centuries. It's not like a
Totally. Yeah, yeah, for
right.
sure.
We're still
But
here.
like, we are still here, but it's like, I feel like our scale is like so massive now.
hmm
Like even the Roman times. Cool, Roman times. Let's go back there. But do you have like Arctic bases? That's crazy.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. Right.
Like we are so far reaching
Yeah. Yeah.
that I think like our it matters now. Before it
hmm
was like, yeah, you're in Rome, Egypt, Greece, sure, like small things. But like when you're so global like we are, like I think it's about time we like really reevaluated what's going on.
hmm
But if you do that, you're breaking the whole system, bro. Yeah. That sounds like some crazy extremist, like Al Qaeda type stuff, bro. You know what I mean? Like, down with the society. Like, no, we're just like, we need to figure this out, bro. You
Sure.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's like again, it's like we're it's like one person fighting against the whole thing. Like Bernie's doing all he can, but it's just one guy.
Max. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need like a movement. I don't know. Maybe the internet will be that movement, but
I don't know. A
yeah.
lot of people are so complacent, though. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's the
That is the
problem.
other thing. That's the other thing. Yeah. But that's why, like Jake Barber said, you need to change your life. Not just Jake Barber, sorry, not Jake Barber, Lou Elizondo. You need to change your life because then you're able to make better decisions. Because if you can make, because what is society if not people, right? So
hmm
how do you make society make better decisions? Make people make better decisions, but they have to first make better decisions within their own life so that they can extrapolate further. You know, like really the only way to change society is you, because
Yeah.
you are
Yeah. Yeah.
society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we collectively are society. Like there is
hmm
no society. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like no tangible society. It's
hmm
literally just like all the people in this apartment building right now and me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a Gandhi, bro. Be the change you seek.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, with that, till next week, hopefully we see news articles about the CE5 thing where I'm calling BS. I'm like, bro, Stephen Greer, I thought we were going to do this whole, or maybe they're suppressing it. Who knows? But like,
Yeah. So maybe it was just a cloudy day.
it was is all around the world, bro. He's like telling, it was like a massive email to like everyone, like global movement.
I understand. Yeah.
I'm, yeah.
But
I don't know. We'll see.
could be a cloudy
Hopefully,
day
hopefully.
all around the world.
Yeah, yeah. Or the Santi are coming and the day of reckoning is upon us.
Right.
That would be crazy.
Right.
If
I
he
gotta
was actually
rewatch
the
it because I
leader.
don't know. Like I only like remember bits of it. Right. So you're like going
Oh,
more because it's like recently watched it, so you've gotten more.
religious leader type stuff, bro. He's like trying to
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like the you know the people who like ended their lives, like the Jamestown massacre or something? They all drank the
Yeah.
Kool-Aid and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
It's kinda like that.
Yeah.
Like they're all so into like this thing even
Yeah.
though
Sometimes yeah, you don't realize how that happens, but that happens.
yeah, facts. Okay. All right, till next week. I'm running late, as always. All right, Tatey Dish.
Peace.
Bye. All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Fish.
Peace.